What's up guys, I'm Adrian Thompson. In today's video, we're gonna talk about what costs poor people more money. Now my first video is actually my most popular video and I actually hate that video. So we're gonna try to top that one today with this one. Now this video is gonna be the first of a 6-part series where I tackle 5 things that cost poor people more money and really expand on each individual topic. However, today's video is just gonna be a general overview of 5 things that cost poor people more money. Also, before we get started, if I don't tell you guys to hit the like button in the first minute of the video, I've realized they don't get pushed out at all for YouTube. So if you like this video or you like this concept, please consider hitting that like button. I hate begging, it's just how YouTube works. Now that being said and out of the way, let's jump right into today's video. So probably not shockingly, the thing that's more expensive for poor people is actually housing. You would think that poor people make less money, that they would have to live in such a less nicer place, that they would spend less money on rent. But here's the thing, rent doesn't go down proportionally with income. So although the actual price of rent may be lower than somebody who makes more money, the ratio of the cost of rent to your total income is actually higher for poor people. And even on top of that, you have to keep in mind that poor people tend to rent and not own. And renting by definition means somebody is making money off of you just for owning the property. That means whoever you're renting from who owns the place is calculating in the cost of property taxes, of the average repair, of the mortgage payment, of the interest of that mortgage payment, getting a number and then upcharging that number to make sure that they make a profit off of you if you are the one renting. And then the most important factor of this whole equation is that if you're renting, you are not building equity into the property that you're renting from. So that means you're paying more money and you're never building any wealth along the way. So that's the true separation between wealthy people and poor people. The fact that wealthy people are in the position that they can take on the risk to rent out a property to somebody who's not in that position. That means they get to make money and you get to pay payments and never build any wealth. And to explain, I'm not saying that wealthy people are bad people to do this, but if you're poor, you're not in the position to take on that risk, and neither should you take on that risk in order to start building wealth. So that's it for housing. So let's go on to the second thing that costs poor people more money, and that's actually buying cars. I've said it multiple times on this channel, and I'm going to say it again. I absolutely hate cars. They are the only thing you have to typically buy with a loan, something that you have to have insured, something that you're gonna have to pay for maintenance along the way. And on top of all 3 of those, they depreciate in value. The only thing that absolutely does all 4. They are the most expensive thing almost anybody on this planet will buy that will just directly lose them money. But even then, it's even more severe when it comes to poor people. Just like houses, having a car payment can take up a greater proportion of your income than somebody making more money. So even though you're probably driving a less nice car, it's still going to take a larger percentage of your actual income. But on top of that, you're probably driving an older car, which makes your insurance go up. Your credit score is probably lower as well, which means your rate for the car loan was higher. You have a lower net worth than somebody who's wealthier, so therefore you can't really afford the hit of the depreciating value. And your cash flow is probably so tight that an unforeseen accident or repair can make you go down the rabbit hole of taking a bad personal loan out or a predatory personal loan out just to get your car fixed. That is why on this channel, I always say if you can use public transportation, you should definitely do it. Transportation in terms of a car can cost you the most money, which means it can gain you the most money back if you find a way to work around it. Or this is rare, but you can try to split ownership of a vehicle with somebody else. I have a few videos actually explaining this circumstance, but I had to pay off a 32% interest car loan. I didn't misspeak there. That's a 32% interest car loan. I'll tag the video somewhere in one of the corners. Not only is that insane, I would say that's downright predatory. My mother took the loan out, not me. I would have never done that. But at the same time, that's going to be a good segue into issue number 3. So the third thing that costs poor people more money are personal loans, which in this context tends to be a predatory loan. If you are somebody who isn't dealing with poverty or being poor, you can probably cash flow a lot of issues that come up in your life. But if you are poor, and I've been there, you are dealing with a different set of circumstances than somebody who makes more money. A lot of times if you're poor, you're struggling to build up a savings account to actually pay for unforeseen circumstances. And on top of that, if you're poor, you probably have lower quality stuff. Therefore, you're gonna have to repair it more often. What this can lead to is a lot of poor people having willing to take out personal loans. Very often, if you're poor, you probably don't have a good credit score. A lot of times, those two factors go hand in hand. But if you are somebody with a good credit score or has a decent income and not a high debt to income ratio, you probably can get a personal loan for as low as 4%, maybe even lower. However, if you're poor and you have a bad credit score, you might be cornered into believing that the only loan that you can get is a payday loan or a predatory loan with an average rate of 391%. I'll say that again, an average rate of 391% interest. For context, a really bad credit card, and keep in mind credit cards have extremely high rates of interest, a really bad credit card is 25% APR or higher. So that means predatory payday loans are 16 times worse than credit card debt. Now, by no means am I trying to say that poor people can only take predatory loans out, but you have to keep in mind that there are people who are marketing toward the financially uneducated people in areas where they know that there are people who are willing to take out these predatory loans of 391% interest. And I know what you're thinking, Adrian, I know housing and car loans and personal loans might be more expensive for poor people, but what if I told you just simply having a bank account is more expensive for people who are poor? Because let's be real, the most common banks that people bank with have absolutely BS fees. For example, Bank of America has a $35 overdraft fee, and if you have a savings account that drops below $500, they're gonna charge you a $10 fee. In fact, there was one time I tried to cash a $10 check and their app went down, and the next day I saw a $12 fee for a $10 check because their app went down and my check got denied. Now, if you're somebody who makes more money, has good cash flow, you're probably never in the position to where you even see these fees, or they hit you with these fees and you just don't realize it. But you have to keep in mind, if you are poor, you're probably somebody living on the edge of having a debit account around $0 or a savings account just above or right at $500. So in general, people with less money have to deal with these fees more than people with more money. For instance, if you just have $500 in a Bank of America savings account and an incident comes up where you have to withdraw money from that account, you have to pay $10 just to get access to that money, essentially, because the second dips below $500, they're going to hit you with a $10 fee. Or if you're trying to get ahead on your bills or your credit card payments and you set up auto withdrawal, but one day your employer messes up how he direct deposits into your bank account, because you don't have a lot of money sitting in that debit account, you might overdraft and you have to pay $35 because somebody else messed up. One of the things I noticed was that all of my wealthy friends growing up all banked with Wells Fargo, so I thought I would try to imitate them after I got a job, and then I realized I do not make enough money in order to bank with Wells Fargo without getting hit with fee after fee after fee. And then the last thing that costs poor people more money, and we can probably all agree it costs everybody too much money, are medical expenses. So in the United States, outside of the Affordable Care Act, most insurance is tied to your employer. So obviously, if we're talking about in today's video, poor people who don't have a job, who don't have a consistent job, or who don't have a job that offers health insurance, this can be a major cost to them if they have to get insurance through the government, or if they don't have insurance and therefore they have to pay large amounts of money when they do go to the doctor. On some level, we are lucky in the United States to have the Affordable Care Act, but on average, it costs about $388 per person to be insured. And just for context, through my employer, our insurance costs me $27 a month. So that's about an 11 times shorter amount, probably even more. That was quick math off of my head. So that just goes to show you that even through the government, the insurance can be an insane amount of money for somebody who doesn't make a lot of money. And then on top of that, you're probably settling for a higher deductible insurance, which means you're gonna have to pay the same out-of-pocket costs when you do go see the doctor. And then even on top of that, we know that health issues are more prevalent for people living in poverty, so they are more affected by it than somebody who is wealthier and able to live a healthier lifestyle. Now, everything I've said so far in this video is very high level, and I plan on diving deep into each one of these 5 topics, saying how can we address it, what can we do to fix it. And if you like that concept, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel, because I'm gonna put a lot of work into the next 5 videos, making sure that they are absolutely useful for this community. I purposefully phrased everything in this video as a chicken or egg type scenario. Is it you were poor because you pay for these things, or did you become poor from something else and therefore now you have to pay these higher prices? So once again, if you do like that concept, go ahead and like the video, hit subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, I gotta say the outro. And remember, it may be hard now, but it doesn't always have to be. I'll see you in the next one.